Every high and crushing low taught me something invaluable: resilience. I began documenting my journey, recording every lesson and every step towards rebuilding my success and my mental, even if no one else was watching. I didn't know where this path would lead, but I had Frank, Rosario, and the memories of everything I built and lost, fueling my determination. What you're about to see is my journey, the highs, the lows, and every moment in between, captured during a time when I was all alone but never defeated. I'm going to get back to being a millionaire. No matter what, I will make it.
So, that was just a little taste of how disappointed I am. Let's get into it. It is... Let's see if I can pull this up really quick. First, let's start here. It is Sunday, April 21st. 6:17 p.m. Bitcoin is at 65k, 65,021. Ethereum is at, come on, Ethereum is at $3,161. Why are you so depressed, Adrian? What happened? Last we heard, you were going to launch your token. What happened? So as you guys know, I got the logo made, got the website, done. Pulled together, $500 to $700, somewhere around that range to get everything all set. Paid for it all. My investor guy, he came through with the $2,000. I'm ready to go. We're ready to go. We're ready to do it. We launched the token. It starts going up. And it pumps and dumps because of the Solana bots. And, because it's not a meme token, it doesn't get the same kind of look through as everything else, which is really shitty. And so technically on paper right now, we basically lost our money. And because we locked the LP, which means that you burn the LP or the money that you use to basically fund like the actual method so people can trade, because we locked that, we threw the keys away, which you're supposed to do to kind of make investors more confident. And we probably should have waited on that just to see what would happen, so that way if we needed to, we could have rug pulled. But being honest people, we didn't do that, and so we didn't rug it. And we probably would have made way more money if we did rug it, to be honest. But we're not like that. And so, yeah, man. We end up getting, pretty much nothing out of it. And I'm kind of left with, do I keep on working or trying to work on a project that's just, it seems like I launched it on 420 because I kept on seeing 420 as far as like numbers and stuff. I was thinking maybe that was a sign. Maybe that was a guardian angel telling me something, And I keep on trying to do good. Hiring this person, trying to make some kind of form of good project, something that's actually going to help people, something that's actually going to change the way people think about crypto and stuff. And no matter what I do, it doesn't change anything. Nothing changes. At the end of the day, it just ends up becoming another gamble, and I'm left thinking, like, why can't I have anything good, bro? Like, why can't I just have one thing that works out? Why do I gotta sacrifice 2 years to try to get somewhere? Why is every project I get into or I create or develop just not go well? I don't understand, and it's not like I don't put time into it, right? I think the best project I had was the manga project, but still, I still paid a ton of money to get really nothing but, applause at the end of the day. Even if we get a reward, let's say we get the reward of like $400, $500 or whatever it is, it's nothing in compared to, you know what I mean? Like, even though I like the fact that we made a manga, trying to make another manga is gonna take so much more time and effort again that it kind of it pushes me away from trying to even create that stuff, because I know that it's gonna take a lot of money and a lot of time. How does a creative like myself that doesn't have absolute talent in these areas really survive? And I'm truly asking that. How does someone like me get by in this world? Now, obviously, once I have a job, that's gonna be cool, but it's like I'm just going back to where I was 3 to 4 years ago, and I'm not really stepping up. It's just like it really sucks to know that if that does happen the way it's supposed to, that's the way that it goes down. Mind you, that I'm probably gonna separate ties with Frank, because it's like, I don't want to be living somewhere where everything's just fucking controlled and manipulated. And then 2, I feel like that's the only move to get away from all the bullshit that I got to deal with, because, again, I gave 2 years or 2.5 years to basically help him out and shit and all this stuff. I'm not saying that it's not going to be good on the other side, but it's like, that's a long time for me to not just be in the world doing what I need to do, and a mind like mine cannot be cooped up like that for so long without doing shit. And so, getting back to the main point, it goes back to what I was saying. It's like, I spent 2 years pretty much for nothing. Obviously, I tried out a whole bunch of new stuff. I learned, I have a different point of view, but at the end of the day, even though I wouldn't change that for the world, because I learned so much, it feels so shitty to know that maybe, possibly, I could have done way more, just being on my own. Just being on my own, I could have done way more. Probably saved some cash if I wasn't paying $1,000 to rent for no fucking reason. Because I could have probably paid, I don't know, $600, $700 for a little tiny room or tiny shack. I don't care. But, I could have saved $500 a month, which would have ended up allowing me to maybe invest in something or make a new project or something like that. That would have done the same thing. So it's like, why did I even do any of this in the first place? Why did I waste so much time trying to prop up a business that was already pretty much failed to do anything because of the one mistake it did? And even now, I don't know if we're gonna have enough. There's no jobs coming in, so I have no clue if we're gonna have enough money to even scrape together to go ahead and and go ahead and get things going for a tax person, and after that a lawyer, or the bankruptcy lawyer. I just see it as like everything's dead in the water right now, and it's like for both of us, he honestly he should just get a project manager job or find a different job, because I don't see this lasting as far as a forecast of being you once you ruin it, you pretty much ruin it forever. And he doesn't have time like me, Frank. He doesn't have time like me to just kind of waddle away for like 5 years trying to get his business back up. He had 20 years to pretty much do that, since 2013 to now, or 10 years to pretty much do that, and he wasn't able to do that. So that's just my logical side thinking. Obviously, I want everything to go good for him, but right now, I have to start thinking more to what the fuck am I doing? That's the critical side of me has to ask myself, what the fuck are you doing, and why have you been doing all this for 2 years? For a normal person, you'd say, okay, 2 years, you want to see that stepping ladder. If I had a job at McDonald's, I might be a store manager. There's so many avenues I could have branched into, but no, I chose the one that only paid about $10,000 to $12,000 for an entire year, and for both years it would have been probably about 24,000 minimum, or sorry, maximum. Probably got paid way less, but I did that for pennies on the dollar just to try to see if I couldn't uplift somebody else's dream. So that goes back to the saying, it's crazy the amount of bad actors that get paid and the amount of good people that get fucked. It's fucking crazy. It's actually insane. So my biggest thing right now is talking with my investor guy and saying, hey, if you guys can go ahead and just model this for me for free, I can go ahead and make some teaser animations for it. But you guys have to be okay with that. That's the only way I could see us moving forward, because otherwise I think that we're also dead in the water for this. I don't see any hope when it comes to all the crypto stuff now. The only thing that I'm in right now that seems to be just a long-term play is Neoxa, which is a gaming token / platform, but I've just had my computers mine that. Render, I have no clue, and I'm now deciding whether I even want to go ahead and put any money towards, because they're changing a lot of stuff come the future, and it might not actually be as worth as it is now. So there's a lot of things that are just like are just fucked up. And like I said, I've got fucked on not getting any orders out here for Uber and DoorDash and Instacart and fucking Shipped and all these places, and Spark and Amazon Flex. None of this stuff is working anymore. So it's like, what the fuck am I doing, man? It's just so shitty. Now, the one thing I could do is I can work at this thing called WorkWhile, which is pretty dope. It would be the first time I'm doing any of this stuff, where it's like you're a factory worker or a sortation worker. You're a person who sorts stuff. And I can work for them. I think this one's like from 5 p.m. to what? 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. And just work in the fucking factories doing factory shit. I have no clue what I'd be doing, but at least it's, that's some money for the day. But yeah, man, it's just one of those things where it's like, I gotta start just figuring out what I can do for the time being. So I might actually do all this shit yeah, I might do this stuff and just see what's going on. But yeah, man. Yeah. Just be a factory worker for a little bit. I I don't get it, bro. So yeah, I might actually do this. I might do the I might do this job. And that's on, I had to find jobs after the 25th, because the 25th, ooh, we actually don't have anything after the 25th. That sucks. That super duper ooper duper sucks. This one's like 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. But yeah, I just figure some shit out. That's basically it. You know, it's just one of those things. Like this one's from April 23rd to at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. to 12 to like 1 a.m. which is a good shift. It's like what, 6-7 hours? Is that 7 hours? But yeah, it's just all about finding, you know, what works. And thankfully, you know, I'm very witty when it comes to trying to get all this stuff, you know, figured out and stuff. Yeah, it's it's just one of those things where I just have to like figure everything out, and once I figure it out, then I'll be good. But I'm starting to really, I know I've talked about it before, starting to really get tired, because what ends up happening, and what you've probably seen, because I'm very self-aware of all this stuff, is that when even in situations of direness, I try to think about the positives, not the negatives, because I'll never let the negatives overrule me. Even though you see me that I'm sad and stuff, it's like I still got hope. I know that I can still fucking do shit, you know, and keep things going. But over time, you guys will start to see that I'm not gonna take people's bullshit, you know, and I'm just gonna really start doing for me, you know, for the most part. And I just don't want to. I don't want to feel like I'm being super shitty to a point where, you know, I'm really like exiling people from my life just to make my life, you know, good, or doing shitty things, or scamming, or all the other bullshit. Like, I tend to try to be as honest as a person as I can, and a good person. But I also got to realize that everyone that I've seen who was too nice gets fucked over. Everyone that I see is just too nice gets taken advantage of. So I gotta learn, and I have started to learn, to be more strict on how I interact with people, and especially who I socialize with, and how long I may socialize with those people, because I also need to make sure that I'm as productive as I can possibly be. And you know, and that shows, you know. When's the last time I've really gone out? Maybe a month and a half ago, but it's literally like every month and a half to 2 months I go out. But that's like it's like 1 or 2 days out of, you know, out of a 6-month period. I'd probably go out about 3 to 4 times in a 6-month period. You know, if that. 4 times is still a lot. Usually it's just for like 1 or 2 days. So, you know, I've been hustling. I haven't had time to go and see family. I haven't had time to really, you know, hang out or have friends or go to a bar, go to a club, all this shit, you know? None of that's happened. So I really hope that something changes, and you know, there's the up and up. It's still the third section, which has its ups and downs as well. But, you know, I don't know what's going on, man. I don't.
So if you thought the video was good, please give it a like and share. It really helps. And don't forget to subscribe so you can see the rest of the story unfold. This project is so close to my heart, and your support keeps it going. Thanks so much. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time in the archives of a Shiba Millionaire.
The truth is that if people really knew your story and all the things that you've been through, they'd probably wonder how on earth you're still smiling. It takes a very special person to keep going. You know that, and you also know how everything is going to work out. You have decided what kind of life you really want and learned to say no to everything that isn't that. You must be a huge success. Why? Because you've learned that to be successful at anything, and the truth is you don't have to be special. You just have to be what most people aren't. Consistent, determined, and willing to work for it. You understand that 20 years from now, you'd give anything to be this age again. Now, if no one else is going to tell you, I am. You're hearing it from me. I am proud of you now.